Let's do an example, a chain rule versus no chain. Set up our functions. Just a nice simple example. Elementary functions all the way through. Here I'll just rearrange the order I do them. So mapping out a function, every time x appears we write it down. It's really all the same x, it's just easier to organize. X goes through the square, x goes through the sine, and I add those together. There's no chain because it's two things going in, not a chain. For the other function, x goes through the identity 1 times. Now it's a function. Goes through the sine function. Add them together. No chain. And I square that. There's my chain structure. I have one number being squared. Chain structure. So I'm going to use the chain rule when I calculate its derivative. Write down all my derivatives for all the pieces. They're all elementary, so it's easy. And now we'll actually compute the derivatives, just to refresh our memory. First up, the example without the chain rule. Y prime is the derivative of the y function. That came as the output of the sum, so I use the sum rule. Which just breaks up the sum into two pieces. Derivative of x squared is the 2 times function with input x. Derivative of the sine x is the cosine function with input x. Now for the chain function. Y prime is the derivative of the function that came from the square, so its derivative is the 2 times function. That's a chain structure, so I multiply by the derivative of the input function, x plus sine x. X plus sine x came from a sum, so I use the sum rule, break it up. Derivative of x is 1, it's the constant function 1, and the derivative of sine is cosine. There's another way to do this. Now that we've assembled the map, we don't have to run through the steps piece by piece like this. We can just assemble the derivative function from the map. So, starting with our first x, 1, the constant function, and cosine. Those are combined using the sum. That number then is multiplied by the 2 times function with input x plus sine x. So you can just write down the derivative without a lot of work. All the work was put into making the map. Then you just read the answer off the map. Either way, of course, works.